Hi, good evening, children. It's time for part 2 of the video on Unit 18, tenses. All right, and it's around 5:45 from what I can see, and in another 15 minutes, your exam's going to start. Good luck for that, and I hope you do well. Okay, so now we are going to be doing part 2 of the video, which will be only on perfect tenses. Now, part 1 of the video on Unit 18, tenses, was you learned the simple tenses and you learned the continuous tenses. The simple tenses are simple present, simple past, simple future. And the continuous tenses were uh, uh, present continuous, past continuous, and the future continuous. So this video is going to be only on perfect tenses. Okay, so let's get right into it. Here we are, coming up like in the movies. They show us something's coming up, and here it is, perfect tenses. So today we'll be learning not only about perfect tenses but about perfect continuous tenses. Okay, so perfect tenses, you have the present perfect, the past perfect, and the future perfect. Okay, we put the AC off so there'll be no noise, humming noise in the background. Okay, so perfect tenses are used to speak of completed actions. Okay, they speak of completed actions, and by the use of has, have, had, shall have, will have, okay, or the ing form of the verbs, we can find out about when the action occurred. Okay, so let's go right into the examples. And you know that I always use the timeline, and using the timeline makes it easier to get a visual idea by looking at it of when the action occurred. But before that, let's just see the formula which we use for perfect tenses. So you know what's the subject, okay? You know what's the past participle, right? The done form of the verb. The subject is the doer of the action. So for present perfect, we say the subject plus has or have plus the done form of the verb or the past participle. Understood? Now for past perfect, we use the subject plus had plus the past participle. And for future perfect, we use the subject, this formula, subject plus shall have or will have plus the past participle. Okay, so that makes up the future perfect. So let's look at the timeline now. Let's go to the timeline right away. Okay, so an action that began in the past at some time, unspecified time, but it's not happening anymore. It's finished. It's over with. All right. So here is X. Okay. That's the action which has happened at some point in the past. We don't know when, but it's not happening right now in the present. Okay. So Shelly has walked to school many times in the past. So she started doing the action in the past. She walked, she completed it, and it's finished. Now she doesn't walk anymore uh, to school many times like she did before in the past. Okay, so a more detailed explanation. It shows that the action began at some unspecified time. We're not giving any date when the action happened. We're just saying that Shelley has walked to school many times in the past. But now she's not walking anymore. The action is over. Okay, it's completed now. So I have finished my dinner already. Okay, my homework, sorry. I have finished my homework already. It happened sometime in the past, but right now at this moment, I'm not got anything to do with my homework. It's over at some unspecified time in the past. Okay? Sorry, yeah, at some unspecified time in the past, it's over. So I have finished my homework already. Okay? I have completed the painting. It could be a few minutes ago, it could be an hour ago, it could have been 10 hours ago, it could have been last week also. But I have finished my painting, but right now I'm not painting anymore. I have finished it. Okay? So there are more examples to get the idea really clear. Okay? He has visited Greece sometime in the past, but not at the moment. Okay, they have baked a cake sometime unspecified time in the past, but that action is completed. He has eaten his dinner maybe an hour ago, maybe a few minutes ago, but it has happened in the past. It's not continuing or happening at the moment. I have written a letter an hour ago to my mother. Action is finished, not happening at the moment. She has spoken to her mom on the phone a few minutes ago, and she says to say hi. Okay, so she has spoken to her mother at some unspecified time. Okay, and she's not speaking to her mother right now. Okay, we have bought a new house maybe a week ago, maybe we just finished paying the last payment about an hour ago. I have this great news: we have bought the house. Okay, we have bought a new house. Okay, action is over. You're not buying anything at the moment. Understood? It's over. So now let's go to the past perfect tense. So this always speaks of two actions which happen in the past. One which happened earlier than the action which is more recent. Okay, and it's so easy to know which is the past perfect, because you will have the subject, you will have had, and then followed by the past participle, which will always show you the action which happened earlier. So now you can see there are two X's here. The earlier action which happened way before the next action is shown in red, and the latest action which happened soon, sometime just a little bit before that, before is the past, the next action. Okay, so we have two actions, the one in red which happened earlier and the action in blue which happened next. Okay, so Shelley had walked to school earlier, okay, before she moved to Chennai. So her earlier action was that she used to walk to school. Okay, but it stopped because she moved to Chennai. So two actions have happened. Had walked to school is the first action. The next action, she moved to Chennai. And now she doesn't walk anymore to school, maybe because the school that she is in Chennai is maybe further away. So she probably gets her mom or dad to drop her, or maybe she's taking the bus. We don't know. But two actions happen. She had walked to school earlier in the past, but then she moved to Chennai. Two actions happen. She doesn't walk anymore to school. Okay? And that action was completed before the next action, which was moving to Chennai. So Shelley had walked to school earlier. That's the first action before she moved to Chennai. Okay? Moved is in the past tense. Okay? So two actions occurred. Had walked to school, moved to Chennai. The past perfect shows you the action which happened earlier. Okay? When we have two actions in the past, we use the past perfect to clearly show which action happened first. Okay, so by the time I reached, the children had slept. Now it's showing you two actions: had reached, had slept. Okay, sorry. The time you reached and the children had slept. When you see had slept, you know immediately that was the action which happened earlier, because the children had slept and then I reached, right? So it's used to show the action which happened earlier. Okay? I was happy because I had scored well in my exams. Obviously, you scored well and then you were happy, right? So had scored well is the first action, and then you showed that you were happy. So I was happy because I had scored well. So it shows the first action that you had scored well. The next action is I was happy. So supposing they tell you to identify the past perfect, you know immediately because it has had in front of it, followed by the past participle. Okay, now look at the next sentence. She spoke English well as she had attended special classes in the summer. Okay, so now she started speaking English well, okay, only after she had attended classes, special classes in the summer. So had attended is the past perfect, and you know exactly that this was the first action. Okay, it is past perfect is used to show which action happened earlier when you have two past two events which have happened in the past. So Now look at the next sentence. As it had started raining, she gave me a raincoat. Why on earth would she give you a raincoat if it hadn't started raining? So obviously it had started raining and then she gave you a raincoat. Okay, so had started is the past perfect. All right, and then she gave you a raincoat because you'd get wet, right? Praveen cleaned the floor because he had spilled some juice. Now, looking at this, you know exactly which action happened first. Spilled the juice, had spilled the juice. That's the action which happened first. And the next action was that he cleaned the floor. A good job, Praveen. That's what you're supposed to do when you make a mess. So it shows that the action spilled began in the past and was completed, and something else occurred after that. Clean the floor. Okay, it's very simple. Now let's look at future perfect tense. So an action that will be completed at some specified time in the future. Okay. So an action which is going to happen in the future. Okay. And it will stop at a particular time, at some specific time. Okay. So let's look at this sentence. Okay. Here it shows the action which is completed at this specified time, which is represented by the blue X. Okay, let's see how that makes sense in this sentence. Shelley will have walked to school. Okay, you know it's subject, will have, shall have, followed by the past participle. So will have walked to school for 2 months by November. So X is represented, November is represented by the X. It represents November. Okay, so Shelley, let's say from the present, she is walking. Okay, she has walked, and by the time she reaches November, she will have walked for 2 months. Let's say the present is September. So Shelley starts walking. Okay, she will have walked for 2 months. Okay, by November. Understood? So Shelley will have walked to school for 2 months by November. This action walked, okay, will be completed at some specific time, which is November in the future. So I shall have finished with this book by tomorrow. So let's look at the timeline again. You have the present, okay, start reading, okay, that let's say that is today. She starts reading the book, but by tomorrow she would have finished it. So I shall have finished this book by tomorrow. So the blue arrow, blue X will be tomorrow. So that action will be completed by a specific time, which is tomorrow. Okay? She will have cooked dinner by 8 p.m. That blue X, let it be 8 p.m. So the action will have been completed by this time. The action is what? The future perfect shall have cooked dinner, okay, by 8 p.m., which is the X arrow. Okay. She will have completed or she will have cooked dinner by 8 p.m. He will have arrived in Chennai this evening. Okay, the time is set. This evening is the X, blue X. Okay, arrived in Chennai, and by X, blue X, which is this evening, she would have completed the action. Okay, would have, it's in the future. Okay, you're imagining a past event in the future. All right, I shall have saved 20,000 rupees by December. Blue X is December. Okay, and by that blue X, the red X would have completed this action of saving the money. So I shall have saved 20,000 rupees by December, which is the blue X is December. Okay, she will have adopted a puppy by next month. Next month is X, the blue X. So by the blue X, okay, which is the time, she will have adopted a puppy. She's looking around for puppies. She's wants to make sure that by next month she definitely has a puppy at home. Okay, and maybe it's this cute puppy who's just written and sitting in that box with adopt me written. And please after that. Isn't that so sweet? Okay, so in another few minutes, I shall have completed my cup of tea. X is in another few minutes, and I shall have finished my cup of tea. Okay? So now we are going to go to perfect continuous tenses. You have the present perfect continuous, you have the past perfect continuous, and you have the future perfect continuous. Okay? So it's already 2 minutes, a few minutes are passing. I shall have completed it. Okay, or finished it. 1 second. I'm just going to use a simple past now. I've finished my cup of tea. Simple past. Okay? Now, let's go to continuous tenses. The perfect continuous tenses. Okay? So perfect continuous tense has a formula. You have the subject, okay, has been, have been, plus the verb, that's the ing form of the verb. Okay, so for example, let's say run. So subject, let's say I. Okay, I have been running. You have been running. She has been running. He has been running. It has been running. We have been running. You all have been running. They have been running. So get used to have been plus the ing form of the verb. Okay, that is the present perfect continuous. Understood? Then you have the past perfect continuous. You know already had been plus the verb plus ing. I had been running. You had been running. Okay. Then he, she, or it had been running. We had been running. You all had been running. And they had been running. Okay. So that is the past perfect continuous. Okay. Now you have the future perfect continuous. It's the subject plus shall have been or will have been plus the ing form of the verb. I shall have been running. You shall have been running. Okay, you will have been running. Okay, then he, she, or it will have been running. Okay, we shall have been running. Okay, it sometimes mixes me up too. That's an honest statement. Okay, you all will have been running and they will have been running. Okay, so that is the future perfect continuous. So let's look at the timeline. Okay, the present perfect continuous shows an action that is ongoing. It started in the past, it started in the past, but it is still continuing right now. It started in the past, but it is still happening right now. Okay, so Shelley has been walking to school since February. So let's say the place where X is, it's February, very specific time. Okay, and she has continued to walk till the present date. Okay, so Shelley will have been walking to school since February. So, since February, she started walking and she is still walking to school, meaning not she's not taking the really long walk. Okay, every day she walks to school since February. Okay, so an ongoing action which started in the past and it is continuing. Started in the past, in this case in February, and to the present day, the action is still continuing. Even now that it's April, she still continues to walk to school. You understand, children? This is pretty simple. So there are lots of examples. I have been studying for my exam since 3 p.m. So let's say it was me who was studying for my exam and now it's 6. I have been studying for my exam since 3 p.m. An action which happened in the past and it is still continuing. I haven't stopped studying. I'm still studying. Oh my goodness, I'm still studying for my exam. An action which happened in the past and is still continuing. I have been studying for my exam since 3 p.m. That's a lot of studying, children. No matter, I feel like my brains are all jumbled. It's because of all that studying. I hope you're not feeling that way though. You're all smart kids. Aarti has been talking on the phone for 3 hours. I can see Aarti is really enjoying her conversation. I don't know who she's talking to, but whoever she's talking to must be real fun For somebody to be on the phone for 3 hours is not a small job, believe me. I mean, I can't stay on the phone for ages and ages and ages. I mean, max. Okay, when I talk to my sons, I probably speak for more than an hour, but not, I don't think I've ever spoken for that long. But people do speak for that long. Okay. So Aarti has been talking on the phone for 3 hours. So let's say that right now it's 6. Okay. That means she started talking on the phone at around 3 o'clock. And that action which started in the past is still continuing. She's still on the phone, children. She's still on the phone. The children have been sleeping for a long time. The action happened in the past. It is still continuing. That's why it is present perfect continuous. Even right now, they are still sleeping. Okay, so the children have been sleeping for a long time. So when you see has been or have been, you know it is present perfect continuous when it is followed by the ing form of the verb. Okay, now I have so much more. Rami has been playing football since he was 12 years old. So this action happened in the past when he was 12. Okay. Rami has been playing football since he was 12 years old, and even today, even now, he still plays football. He's an avid football fan, and he's in the football club and on the football team in St. Mark's Nursery and Primary School. Even though he'd be like way older, I'm just joking, children, he still loves football and plays it. The action happened or started in the past when he was 12 years old. So Rami has been playing football since he was 12 years old. We have been living in Chennai for 40 years, which is true. I mean, me and my family, we've been living in Chennai for the past 40 years. So 40 years ago, we started living in Chennai. And as you can see, I'm here. The action is continuing even today. We are still living in Chennai. Okay. So we have been living in Chennai for 40 years. Action which happened in the past and is continuing even today. It has been raining since last night. So the action that happened in the past, it started raining last night and it is still continuing. Even now, it is still raining. So it has been raining since last night. Okay, so these are all perfect, present perfect continuous. Okay, an action which happened in the past and it is still continuing now. So let's go to past perfect continuous, past perfect. So here, an action happened in the past and continued till something happened to stop it. Okay, so look at this. So this is X. The action would have continued till today, but something interrupted the action and stopped it from happening. So here we'll use the past perfect continuous. Let's see. Shelley had been walking to school. She had been walking to school until she broke her leg. Now she is not walking to school. So past perfect. It showed that she used to walk to school. She had been walking. The action was continuous until her accident. Okay. The red line here shows something that has interrupted, something which would have continued. Okay, it would have been continuing. Okay, but that red line shows an event which occurred which stopped it from continuing. So that's past perfect continuous. Okay. So look at these examples. Rosa had been studying for a long time when suddenly the lights went off or went out. Okay, it's another way of saying that the electricity failed and there was no electricity. So you can see Rosa sitting there in the darkness. Probably she's lit a candle which is lighting her cheeks up here. Okay, but she's obviously in the darkness. So Rosa had been studying for a long time. So the action happened in the past. It was continuous, studying for a long time until the lights went out. Okay, that action happened and stopped the continuation. Past perfect continuous. Okay, Karina had been eating dinner when her friend called her on the phone. Now, Karina was enjoying a lovely dinner. Look at that. She's sitting and eating some lovely chicken with some, looks like broccoli. Okay, she's eating it, she's really enjoying her meal. So she had been eating dinner until her friend called. And then, she was like that friend who speaks on the phone for many hours. So she stopped that action, that continuous action of eating dinner. She had been eating dinner when the phone rang and her friend called her. Okay, so it shows an action which happened in the past and was continuing to happen till something occurred and stopped it. We had been traveling for a short time when suddenly the tire had a puncture and we had to stop. So, this action happened in the past, it would have continued. So, we had been traveling and we would have continued to travel, but the tire got punctured. Something stopped that action in the past, okay? And we're not traveling anymore at this moment, okay? So, we had been traveling for a short time when our tire got a puncture, right? Mukesh had been living in Chennai until he moved to Mumbai. He would have continued to live in Chennai, but he moved to Mumbai until he moved, right? So Mukesh had been living in Chennai, a past action which was continuous until he moved to Mumbai. Another event happened, the red line, which stopped that continuation of what he was doing, living in Chennai. He moved to Mumbai, okay? Now let's go to the future continuous. Okay, the future perfect continuous. Okay, it is used to express the duration of an ongoing action which will be in progress in the future. Okay, so we're going to talk about something that's going to be happening in the future in a continuous way, okay, until a given date. Okay, so let's look at this. Shelley will have been walking to school. So you know it's subject with will have been or shall have been. Okay, so Shelley will have been walking to school for 2 months by April. So here it is saying, see, ongoing action which will be in progress in the future, which will be that she will have been walking to school until an event or a future date. The event is April. So it's showing us how long she would have been walking. So she will have been walking to school for 2 months by April. Okay, children, if you're asked to identify whether what type of tense it is, what tense it is, you just have to know subject with will have been, shall have been, plus the ing form of the verb will tell you that it is in the future perfect continuous. Okay? Now let's look at examples. By Tuesday, we shall have been practicing for 4 months. So future date is already mentioned, Tuesday, right? Okay, so an ongoing action which will continue till Tuesday will be practicing. And 4 months. So now let's count back 4 months. Okay, now 4 months will be what we are in March now. So that would be in December. Okay, so in December they started practicing. So by Tuesday, they will complete 4 months. So by Tuesday, we shall have been practicing for 4 months. It shows that an ongoing action which will happen in the future will be cut off by a date, okay, which is given. All right. So they will have been running for 2 hours by this evening. So they started a marathon 2 hours ago, okay, and by this evening, it would have completed 2 hours since they started running. An action happened 2 hours ago, it was continuous, and by this evening, that action would, it will be still continuing, but by this time, the action would have been continuing for 2 hours. Okay. The children will have been attending online classes for a year now. Now, you all know that the corona situation, the pandemic, you all have been stuck in your homes. I really feel bad for you, by the way. I mean, we are not enjoying it, but you as kids must be feeling even, kind of caged in a little bit. But I really think you all are doing a great job, okay? Being patient and attending your online classes, all right, which is really great. So the children will have been attending online classes for a year by now. So it started last year, and by now, the process of continuously attending online classes we're talking about. Future perfect continuous. Okay. So by now, you will have, okay, the children will have been attending online classes for a year. Okay, by now, today. Okay, one whole year would have passed. I shall have been learning Spanish for 3 months by June. So future date is mentioned June. Okay, now it's April, May, June. Let's say April, May, June. Okay, so now, okay, I'll start learning Spanish. So I shall have been learning Spanish for 3 months by June, which is true. If I start now, that's tomorrow is the first. So if I start now, by the end of June, I will have completed 3 months of learning Spanish. Okay. So this is a simple kind of a chart which shows the different tenses. You have the present, past, and future. Okay, which is what we know tenses to be. But now you know, and you're in a bigger class, you know that there are different types of tenses. I mean, the main ones are the present, past, and the future. Okay. But the simple tenses, simple present, simple past, simple future. Then you have the continuous, which is the present continuous, the past continuous, and the future continuous. Then you have the perfect tenses, which is the present perfect, the past perfect, and the future perfect. And then you have the perfect continuous, which is the present perfect continuous, the past perfect continuous, and the future perfect continuous. Okay? So, you have finished learning all the 12 tenses. All right, the 12 tenses have been learned. Okay, so now you have the subject plus the verb plus s. All right, so I climb a tree. Now we're just going to do simple present. I climb a tree. You climb a tree. Roma Raj climbs a tree. He, she, or it climbs a tree. We climb a tree. You all climb a tree. And they climb a tree. So, as I already told you, in the simple tenses, okay, like the present, simple present, only in the simple present, the third person singular, he, she, or it, you add an s to it. Okay, you add an s to it. Okay, the verb plus s. Don't forget it. Okay, children. So simple past will be the subject plus the verb, and to the verb you have to, in the simple past, if it's a weak verb, you know that you have to add ed, d, or t. Okay, to change it into the past tense. So subject plus verb. Okay, so plus the suffixes which you add to change it into the past tense. Okay, so you have I climbed a tree, they climbed a tree, he, she, or it climbed a tree, we climbed a tree, you all climbed a tree. So you see, when it is in the past tense, no matter what the subject is, nothing changes. Okay. Then you have the simple future. The simple future is subject, will have or shall have before the verb. So I shall, sorry, will or shall. I'm so sorry, children. So will or shall in the simple future. All right. So subject plus will slash shall plus the verb. So I shall climb a tree. Okay, you will climb a tree. He, she, or it will climb a tree. We shall climb a tree. Okay, you all shall climb a tree, will climb a tree, and they will climb a tree. Okay, so for I or for we use shall, but all the other subjects you use will have. Okay, I and we use shall have. Don't forget this, children. Okay. Now we just go to the present continuous. Now for present continuous, we use subject plus am, is, or are plus the verb plus ing. Okay. So there's always a helping verb before the ing form of the verb. And the helping verbs are am, is, or are. Okay. So let's see. I am climbing a tree. You are climbing a tree. He, she, or it is climbing a tree. We are climbing a tree. You all are climbing a tree. And they are climbing a tree. Oh man, lots of people climbing trees, right? Now, past continuous is the subject plus was or were which is the past tense of the be form of the verb. Okay, be verb. Okay, so was or were is the past plus the verb plus ing. Okay, so I was climbing a tree. You were climbing a tree. He, she, or it was climbing a tree. We were climbing a tree. You all were climbing a tree. And they were climbing a tree. Okay, children? So future continuous. Okay? Future continuous is subject, will be or shall be plus the verb plus the ing. All right? So I shall be climbing a tree. You will be climbing a tree. All right? He, she, or it will be climbing a tree. We shall be climbing a tree. Okay? You all will be climbing a tree and they will be climbing a tree. You got it? Now, present perfect. Actually, children, I'm going through all the subjects. Okay? Here I know I've just given a few, but I'll just go over each and every one of them. So we have present perfect. Okay, now you know present perfect is subject plus has or have plus the past participle. So I have climbed a tree, you have climbed a tree, he, she, or it has climbed the tree. Okay, and they have climbed a tree, you all have climbed a tree, and we have climbed a tree. So that's the present perfect. Now, past perfect. Okay, subject plus had plus the past participle. I had climbed a tree, you had climbed a tree, he, she, or it had climbed a tree, we had climbed a tree, you all had climbed a tree, and they had climbed a tree. Okay, now future perfect. It'll be subject plus will have or shall have plus the verb, the past participle. Okay, so this is pretty simple. I shall have climbed the tree. You will have climbed the tree. He, she, or it will have climbed the tree. We shall have climbed the tree. I'm so sorry. We shall have climbed the tree. Okay, and then we have you all will have climbed the tree and they will have climbed the tree. That is future perfect. Now let's go to the continuous tenses. Even I'm a little exhausted right now. I got tenses coming out of my ears and my eyes. Okay, present perfect continuous. Okay, so continuous, you immediately know ing is involved here. Okay, so subject plus have been or has been plus the verb plus ing, the ing form of the verb. Okay, so now I have been climbing a tree, you have been climbing a tree, he, she, or it has been climbing a tree. Okay, then we have we have been climbing a tree, you all have been climbing a tree, and they have been climbing a tree. Okay, now we go to the past perfect. You know it's subject plus had been plus verb plus ing. So I had been climbing a tree, you had been climbing a tree, he, she, or it had been climbing a tree, we had been climbing a tree, you all had been climbing a tree, and they had been climbing a tree, right? So once you know these formulas, children, it becomes really, really easy. So now we go to the future perfect continuous. Okay, that is the subject plus shall have been or will have been. Okay, sorry, past perfect. I thought I had done the. Oh, sorry, it's two slides. My bad. So for past perfect continuous, you already know had been. Okay, I won't repeat that now. So future perfect is subject will have been or shall have been plus ing form. So I shall have been climbing a tree. You will have been climbing a tree. Okay, he, she, or it will have been climbing a tree. All right, and then you have we shall have been climbing a tree. You all will have been climbing a tree, and they will have been climbing a tree. Okay, children. So subject future perfect continuous. I think I missed up slides, or maybe I have just okay. You're right. The past continuous and the future continuous. I've made two slides, so I'm so used to just turning one page. So here two pages are for the same thing. So I've been a little confused. Okay. So we shall have been climbing a tree, you will have been climbing a tree, and they will have been climbing a tree. So now, children, forms of verbs, like I already told you, the forms, the do, the did, the doing, and the done. So this is just like a exercise. It's not many, but it's just an exercise showing you the different forms. You have the do form, the did form, the doing form, and the done form. Okay, because these are all being used in the different tenses, right? So let's say take the verb take. Simple, that is the do form is take. The did form is took. Okay, the doing form is taking, and the done form is taken, right? So it sometimes the simple past, so the did form and the done form are the same, but in cases like most of the ones which I've given right now is when the did and the done are different. They are not the same. Okay, see. The do is see, saw, seeing, and seen. Okay, I see a bird, I saw a bird. Okay, I'm seeing a bird, I have seen a bird, or I had seen a bird, or I will have seen a bird. Okay, you see what I mean? These are the different forms of verbs. Drive, drive, drove, driving, driven. See, it changes, doesn't it? The did and the done. The do, the did, the doing, and the done. Give, give, gave, giving, given. I have given him a present. Okay. And the other one is gave. I gave him a present. Simple past, over and done with. Okay. Then you have ride, to ride a horse, ride. I rode a horse. I'm riding a horse. And the other one is I had ridden a horse. Okay. Something which happened in the past. I had ridden a horse until I left for Australia. Then I haven't ridden a horse after that. Right? Speak, spoke, speaking, spoken. I speak to my parents every day, a habit. I spoke to my dad last night. I am speaking to my friend. I have spoken to my daughter yesterday. Okay, action is over. Drink, drank, drinking, drunk. Run, ran, running, run. It's the same as the past. Simple past and the past participle are the same in this case. Play, played, playing, played. Again, the past, the did and the done are the same. Okay. Sorry, run, ran, running, run. So it's a run is the same as the simple present in this case. So, children, these are the different forms of verbs. The reason I've given it is because all the others, like jump, the done form is jumped, find is found, rise, the done form is risen, the simple past is rose, live, lived, had lived, or have lived. It's the same. The did and the done are the same. Bring, brought, okay, bringing, and had or have brought. Same. The did and the done are the same. Okay. Grow, grow, grew, growing, grown. Forget, forgot, forgetting, forgotten. Bite, bit, biting, bitten. Has or have bitten. Fall, fell, falling, fallen. He has fallen off the horse. Freeze, froze, freezing, freezing. The lake has frozen. Okay. Hide, hid, hiding, hidden. He was hidden from sight, or he had hidden behind the tree, or she has hidden the treasure. Know, knew, knowing, known. It has been known, or it is known. Let's see. He has known the secret for many years. Do, done. Oh, sorry, do, did, doing, and done. I mean, I've repeated it so many times. Do, did, doing, and done. Tear, to tear. Tear, tore, tearing, and torn. Swim, swam, swimming, swum. Draw, drew, drawing, drawn. Choose, chose, choosing, chosen. He has chosen this place to stay for his vacations. Do, oh, again. Fly, fly, flew, flying, flown. The bird has flown away. Then we do forgiven, forgive, forgive, forgave, forgiving, forgiven. They have forgiven him for the bad thing that he did to them. Okay? Then sing, sang, singing, sung. They have sung a beautiful song. And that is the end of this lesson. I am very happy that I finished this lesson. Okay? And I'm very happy that uh, you have plenty of time actually for your English too to study. So tomorrow we'll be having class and we'll go over some of this. Especially, I think I'll go over tenses again with you. Okay, but keep these, watch these videos whenever you can. All right, and be prepared for your grammar exams. Okay, children, you have a lot of time left. If you just do a little teeny weeny bit every day, you will be very prepared for your final term assessment. Okay, children, so I'm going to stop sharing now and go back to the meet. All right, so now the time is, oops, 6:30. I don't know how long I've been talking, but I hope I haven't been droning on and on and on. But I had a good time teaching you. It is just becoming a little warm, and you know that I put the AC off, and it gets to be a little sticky. But I think each time I know that maybe you have learned a little bit more. It's absolutely worth it. Okay, children. So good luck for tomorrow's test. And not tomorrow. You don't have a test. You have holidays right up to the 6th, right? So anyway, see you in class tomorrow. Okay. I love you. Bye.